Hey guys, I'm Elizabeth Newsom and welcome to my BookTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to adult. This might sound completely irrelevant to BookTube, but remember, I'm also a college student and this is very relevant to being a college student. A few days ago, I had what I call an early life crisis. In a midlife crisis, you wonder what you've done with your life. In an early life crisis, you wonder what you're going to do with your life. So I was having one of those. And it all started because I wanted to take a trip abroad over the summer. And my honors program has a pretty low rate for taking a trip abroad to Europe. So I was thinking, all right, I can't do it this summer because my family has a trip planned to Alaska. I thought, all right, well that's okay. I'll do it next summer. And then I'm like, oh wait. Next spring, I'm going to be taking a semester abroad to Hertfordshire, which is 20 minutes outside of London. And I might be tired from traveling and going around the world, and I might just want to hang out in the US. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'll do it the next summer. And then I realized I don't have a next summer. This is it. I have 2 more summers as a college student, and then I'm graduated, out in the real world, looking for a job. I like to call college adulting in a playpen because sure, you get some of your own responsibility and independence, but I feel like there's this little bubble or cushion around me still protecting me from the actual consequences of the real world. And part of it is I'm on full scholarship, so I don't have to worry about paying for anything. The school pays for my tuition, books, food, housing, student fees. So I don't have to worry about any utilities or landlord. I don't have children I'm responsible for, or taxes that I really think about. I do have a part-time job for about 12 hours a week, but again, it's a marketing internship, and if there's something that I plan to do but I don't get done that day, no one's going to die. So overall, my job is it pays well, it's a good job, but it's pretty low stakes, and I'm really just responsible for myself at this stage of life, and I don't really have a lot else to worry about, other than maybe meeting a few deadlines for school. But I know that this will change, and soon I will have a lot of other financial concerns and thinking about paying taxes and utilities and finding a good place to live. Right, and eventually kids, but I'm trying not to think about that yet, because I'm not there. Adulting. I made a list of all the adulting things I need to do, and I've done quite a bit of research on the items on this list. With that said, even though I'm 21, I'm obviously not hardcore adulting yet, and I probably won't till I'm out of college, so I don't have any real experience to speak of, but I'm hoping that this list might help some of you guys who have also had early life crises. Or maybe you've been watching this video and this video has given you an early life crisis. If so, these tips are for you. And the first thing on my adulting to-do list is to get a summer internship, because now employers don't just want people with a degree. We hear of people all the time who end up in a job that's completely irrelevant to their degree, or who aren't able to be hired in a job where they can use their degree, or they're underemployed, like they have a degree in anthropology and they're working as a barista or at Walmart or something like that. And while some people might argue because that degree is anthropology, I think a big part of the reason college graduates don't get a job right out of college is because they don't have experience. And while a degree and having it on paper looks nice, your classes don't give you the actual job experience that you need, so there'd be quite a bit of a learning curve, and employers just don't want to take that risk. Which means that you need to get an internship. I'm in a marketing internship right now, but I also have decided to get a marketing internship over the summer. I want to work for a publishing house, and I've looked at a few publishing marketing internships. There's one with HarperCollins, Christian Publishing, and Penguin Random House. I don't really want to go into Christian publishing, which is funny because I'm kind of in the Christian market, but also I kind of want to be in the secular market, or ABA. So I'm looking at an internship with Penguin Random House, which is based in New York City. I've looked at housing options, and I'm looking at housing options through Educational Housing Service. It looks like they have some really safe options in New York City. I'm a little nervous about going to New York City because it's New York City and I'd be by myself. But Educational Housing Services essentially has these dorms in the middle of the city, and they have this lobby where there's 24-hour security guards. So it looks pretty safe. With that said, it's just like a dorm, so I'd have to box all my stuff up and then ship it there, and then it's about $3,900 for my 10-week internship, which isn't terrible. It's still one of the pricier options. I did also look on Airbnb, and there are Airbnb options where you can actually get a discount if you stay over a month, so they're intended for more long-term staying. And so the internship I'm looking at is about 10 weeks, so I would need something more long-term than a hotel, but less long-term than an apartment. But summer internships, especially paid ones, I'm not looking at unpaid ones just because my time is valuable, and even though I don't have a lot of experience, I do have some experience. I'm a fast learner and I have a lot of value I can bring to someone, so I'm not going to take an unpaid internship. With that said, an unpaid internship is better than no internship. You need that job experience and something to put on your resume aside that you have a major in some particular degree. So I'm looking at that internship, and then next summer I'll probably get a second internship, hopefully by getting a head start and having an internship the summer before my junior year. It'll help me with employment after college. My next goal is to start saving for living expenses. I looked up a few estimates of how much living expenses are for different people, and it varies drastically. Like one person said their living expenses were $2,125. Another person said their living expenses were $4,129. I think that was based. I also did an estimate based off of a young couple, just in case I'm married. I mean, I might not be, but I figured it costs a bit more to live as a married person, so I just wanted to account for that, just in case. And these are fairly low estimates. I looked at the average consumer expenditures for 2018, at least for the US, and yearly they spent $61,224. With that said, they had an income of $70-something thousand on average, so they can afford that kind of living right out of college. I probably won't be able to. I've been browsing some marketing jobs, and it looks like a reasonable starting salary is $40,000 to $50,000. I think right out of college I'll go for something more along the lines of $50,000, just because looking at some living expenses estimates, $40,000 is a bit low. Speaking of job searches, you should probably get on some sort of site that could help connect you with employers. I know there's LinkedIn, which I should probably get on, but there's also another website that my university is connected to called Handshake. And it's really cool. You just kind of put in what year you are in college and some of your job experience, your GPA, and it'll look for available jobs and internships for you. Back to saving for living expenses. I've heard you should have enough savings built up to last you 3 months without being employed. My current goal as a college student is to have $1,000 in savings, which I don't have right now. I used to have it, and then I published a book, and then that book costed a lot of money. Although I got a check from Amazon for the ebooks, which were $60. Pretty good considering ebooks don't have any production costs. And I'm getting a check for my print books in the mail soon. I'm sending it to my parents. I don't know how much it is yet. Hopefully a decent amount, because I've sold more print books online than I have ebooks. So I want to have 3 months of savings built up for out of college, because $1,000 might work for small emergencies as a college student, but out of college I'll have to start paying for housing and food and stuff. So I'm guessing, I think a fair estimate is around $12,000. We'll see if I can manage to save that much. Again, publishing a book has just like wiped my bank account. Costs a lot of money. A lot of money. Which is another reason I will want a slightly higher paying job out of college, because I spend about an average of $423 a month on publishing book-related expenses. I also want to start looking into savings accounts that have better interest, like 2% interest. But I tried signing up for one of those before, and even though I gave my social security number, it didn't recognize me as like a real person. So I'm hoping I can get a credit card, build up a credit score, and when I have some credit history, I'll be able to sign up for one of those online savings accounts that has higher interest. Speaking of credit cards, I need to get one because I do not have one. I've kind of just avoided them because I don't need them, but I know with good practices, they can be helpful and I might need to make a loan in the future, so I need to start building up my credit score. And what I think I'll do is I'll have a credit card, but I'll have automatic payments at the end of each month so I don't have to worry about any rollover or interest. I know some people do make the minimum payment and they let it roll over a little. Just the interest you accumulate I don't think is worth it, because that's just extra you have to pay that you wouldn't if you paid everything up front. I'll only use the credit card if I have that money in my checking account that I could pay with immediately. I'm obviously not going to spend money I don't have. And then I could start earning also other things like cash back or different rewards through the credit card, in addition to building up the credit score. I'll have to be careful because I'm really worried about messing up something with my credit card and then ruining my life. But I guess adulting has its risks and that's one of them. So for my senior year, I'm going to move out of this cozy little dorm. I really like it, and this is my sophomore year. I think I'll stay here for junior year, but for senior year, they do have some on-campus, more apartment type living. I'll move into that, and I think my parents will help me pay for different decorations and furnishing and household appliances. So it'll be nice to kind of live in an apartment, because right out of college, I know I'm going to live in an apartment. I don't want to rent a house. I don't want to buy a house. Like, I won't need that much space, and I probably won't have that much money. Next, I have to start figuring out Adobe Photoshop. So for the marketing majors out there, you're expected to know a lot about graphic design. And I know graphic design is a completely different major. And my marketing degree does not include any graphic design classes. But it's still something you're expected to know that's kind of just heaped into marketing. So since I'm not going to have classes about it, that means I need to start self-educating myself. My boyfriend has the Adobe Photoshop tutorial book, so he's going to give me that and a USB with some of the lessons. He has a minor in graphic design, so he's taken some of them, I think the first 11. But I'm going to start working on that over Christmas break and then over the first half of the spring semester. So, crazy story. I signed up for 19 hours in the spring semester. Again, kind of a lot, but I'll be okay. Typically I have 15 credit hours anyway. So one of the extra classes I signed up for was a personal finance class taught by one of my favorite economics teachers, but the class covers things like saving and investing and essentially adulting. And during my early life crisis, I just realized I'd need to start really focusing on my finances. Right now I put 10% in tithes, 10% in savings, and I check my checking account regularly, like several times a week, but I really need to start looking at doing things like investing and managing my finances better. And also working out a budget. I don't really have a strict budget I stick to just because my expenses tend to vary so much from month to month. And again, I'm on full scholarship, so I could take extra classes I want to for free. And what other opportunity in my life am I going to have that opportunity to take a free class taught by one of my favorite professors on personal finance? The last thing I need to look at is a car, because right now I share a car with my brother, but eventually I'll need my own car, so I need to figure out if my parents are going to help with that or if I need to save for it, because I will probably want my own car sooner or later. Well, there you guys have all my tips and how-tos on adulting. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe, because I post one bookish or college-related video a week. And in the comments, I'd love to hear from you guys. Are you ever worried about adulting if you're my age or younger? And if you're older, do you have any tips on adulting or things that you didn't expect when you graduated from high school or college? Let me know down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!